this. I wrote down in the comments section there, why punish anybody? You know, if God, just like Josiah was talking in church the other day in the message, said sometimes when he disciplines his children the most, or the most severely, is when they've done something that can harm them. And in our lesson tonight, it said that sin is when we fall outside of the guidelines that God has set for us to have a good life. And I really believe that if you read in the Old Testament, in the law and everything, all the guidelines that God set out were for His people to have a prosperous life, to have a prosperous existence, for there to be no sickness, for financially to have prosperity, for relationships to be prosperous. That's why He sets out the bounds of marriage and the bounds of human relations and things like that. So I believe that God's plan for our life is for our benefit. These are the guidelines that He set out for us to have a good life. He doesn't say, don't be drunk on wine just because he's a fuddy-duddy. He doesn't say don't have premarital sex just because he's a fuddy-duddy and a stick in the mud. But it's actually good for us not, to be drunk on wine, because we see the problems that, drunkenness causes. And now they've even done studies and that have shown people that, wait until they're married to have sex with one another have more fulfilling intimacy than those that don't, and things like this. So, I mean, it's really borne out that the things that God has set forth for us are for our protection and for our good. So my question is, I guess coming from, a devil's advocate type of position, is if all these things that God has set out for us is for our benefit, then why the punishment at the end if we don't follow it? Why not just say, okay, well, I tried to, out of love, I set boundaries for you, and you went outside of my boundaries, and your quote-unquote punishment is just going to be that you're not going to have a fulfilled, abundant life. Your life is going to be, miserable. That is the natural, consequence of not following the guidelines that He set out there for us. Why then the extra punishment of, the lake of fire or whatever it is, that will happen on the judgment? Why the extra punishment? I guess is the question that came to mind. I just put down, why punish? If it's out of love, and just like your child, you love them, you might even, discipline them severely, for example, for running out into the street, because ultimately you want, their lives, you want to mold them in such a way where they realize that that's harmful for their lives, because you realize it whether they realize it or not. They might not be able to see the danger, but you will discipline them to where it's clear in their mind that running out into the street is a bad thing. Or when children are older, you'll advise them, you may discipline them about who they're dating or who they're seeing, or choices they make like that. But ultimately, if they decide to walk away from that, we as humans are powerless really to punish them further, especially when our children are older and out of the house and things like that. So, but they will see the consequences of their actions in their life. So my question is, why punish? Why punish further? Why have the lake of fire? Why have if the natural consequence of not following the guidelines that God has set for us out above, are